Thanks very much, Elliot, and welcome. You know, I was chatting with people in the lobby, in the crowded lobby, I might admit. Some people are confused. Say, well, is this Milborne real estate? Is this international? Anyway, our developer and friend, both of us, felt that the community, the project was going to sell so fast, they needed 2 listing agents to handle this immense volume. So that's why we decided to team up on it. So the Ravine is a fantastic community. We're going to talk a little bit more about the project in a second, but I thought what I would do first is to give you a little bit of macro information about the market. All of this information, if you want a copy of this little slide deck, we can give you a hard copy, or we can email it to it. Just let us know and we'll send it to you, so you don't have to worry about copying anything down or worrying about that. So this is a quote from a report that CIBC did in April of 2012. And when I talked to some of the guys that wrote this report, they said, you know, it's interesting that the most expensive real estate in the world, the real estate that appreciates the fastest, are the islands: Singapore, Hong Kong, Manhattan. And what they said was when that Greenbelt legislation was passed by the province in 2005, effectively what it did was it turned Toronto into an island. And I don't know that, surely not myself, but a lot of people kind of underestimated the fact what that would do to the appreciation of single-family homes. Later we'll see a little chart, appreciation of single-family homes. But what that's done is it's basically made the condominium the entry-level form of housing. So the real benefit has been to the condo market. We'll talk about that in a minute. So Toronto today, there's approximately 20,000 units of unsold inventory. In 2014, there was probably approximately 22 to 23,000 sales. So that's a very balanced market. A balanced market in a project world is about 18 months supply. So in the low-rise new sale world, it's about 6 months supply. In the high-rise, it's about a 10 to 12 month supply. So anything less than 18 is really a seller's market, and more than 18 is a buyer's market. So I think that what that tells us is that you're going to see continued appreciation of prices over the next few years. $445,000 is the average price of a condo today. At the Ravine, we have very good prices, which you'll discover when you get into your packages, but in the first community of about 340 suites, 2/3 of those suites are under $350,000. So it's very, very affordable from an end price point of view and very, very attractive from a price per square foot point of view. So for the last 15 or 20 years, and probably for the next 15 or 20 years, Toronto has had about 120,000 new residents every year, which kind of translates, if you take 2.5 people per home, into about demand for about 40,000 new homes per year. 5 years before that Greenbelt legislation, in the year 2000, of the total 40,000 homes, and that fluctuates between 35 and 40,000, but of those 40,000 odd sales, in the year 2000, about 2/3 were low-rise homes, single-family and townhouses, about 1/3 high-rise condos. Today, it's the other way around, because the availability of the single family is so restricted. And if anybody's had a client trying to buy a resale home lately, I mean, it's difficult, it's very expensive. So you have a continuing demand of 120,000 people a year moving to the city, both foreign immigration and domestic immigration. And so you've got a very, very strong demand, somewhat limited supply, which really adds up to a great market. We're going to talk, there was about a 15% increase in volume in the rental market, which basically all the units that are getting delivered are getting occupied. There's no, I remember I had a lady from the Toronto Star was talking to me about all the empty condos in the city, and I said, well, show me where they are. Because we always track our buildings when they close, who moves in, and basically they're either owner-occupied or they're rented. There's not any large number of vacant units. So a little bit about Toronto, Canada's largest city, 5.5 million people, diverse cultures, fantastic restaurants, everybody knows that. North America's 4th largest city. We just last year inched ahead of Chicago as the 4th largest city in North America, which surprises a lot of Americans. But here's another interesting statistic, and a lot of this information can be good for your communicating to your clients, because if you educate them, they're smart, they'll get it. So in the year 1900, Chicago had 1,700,000 people. It was a big city, had high-rise buildings, apartment buildings, elevators. in the year 1900, Toronto was really still like a little outpost, 200,000 people. So if you, for the math, you know, quants, the nerds in the audience, if you want to do that compounded annual, so if one starts at 200, one starts at 1,000,007, in 114 years, one passes the other. You can see that growth trajectory, and that growth trajectory is not going to change. I think the pre-sale requirements, the deposits, the mortgage approvals are just a good factor that helps keep the market in balance. So here's a little chart that shows historical prices of condominiums, semi-detached townhouses, and single family. And you can see how the single family average has diverged. And I think the lesson for us in the condominium market is if you have somebody who has $1 million and they're not afraid to go into a bidding war and they're not afraid of competition, it's great for the single family market. But for somebody who's entry level, for an investor, for somebody who wants something affordable, you know, the condominiums are really the entry level form of housing in the world today. So here's another chart with a lot of information on it, but like I said, anybody who wants this information, we're happy to give it to you. So you can see that in 2013, in the middle at the top, there was about 26,000 sales, which was a low year. This year, it was around 37,000 in the top left there between high rise and low rise. But it just shows that the market is very balanced. You know, the supply is matching the demand, and there's slow appreciation. There's no boom. There's no bubble. It's just a great condition. This was the chart I was referring to about the rentals. It shows two things. It shows the volume of rentals. In 2010, there was slightly over 10,000 rentals done on MLS. Last year, you can see there was slightly over 20,000 rentals. And you can see what's happened to the rental prices and average price per square foot per month. So it flattened out a little bit between 13 and 14, but I think the important message here is that what's getting delivered is getting rented up. There's no vacant apartments. So now a little bit more about the specifics of the project, the Ravine. Location is just east of here at Don Valley Parkway and YorkMills. It's a large site. And these are the views looking south, east, north, and west. The nice thing about this site is because it's not in a congested area, you don't really need to be on a really high floor to get a good view. And you can see from here, it's mostly low-rise and mostly greenery that surrounds the community. The sales office building is presently under construction, and it's immediately east of the exit. If you're coming north on Don Valley and take the YorkMills exit, if you come left, you go to Prince. If you come right, you end up looking at the beautiful new sales office. So we also did these watercolor renderings, which I hope everybody had a chance to admire, as opposed to computer generated, because it just gave a little bit more accurate feel about what the community is going to be like. And I think also having the opportunity to purchase in phase one of a 4-phase community is good. Because when we sell a building for a developer, there's one building, one phase. Trust me, they're not worried about what happens tomorrow. They price it to maximize their profit. There's no secret there. We're capitalists living in a capitalist world. When you've got a 4-phase community, phase one, the pricing is more about how do we get phase one sold as fast as possible and get on to phase two, because our profit and our money is in phase 3 and 4, not phase one. So that really helps, and that's a great story because it's true for why someone should buy in phase one of a master plan multi-phase community. So again, with these watercolor renderings, you can see and fantastic amenities throughout. I won't go through all the little list. You can read those. Rooftop. It's just a beautiful, beautiful community, and the area is fantastic.